What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. I know you guys could probably already tell it is going down. Just by that title alone, you're definitely going to want to see this one as we're witnessing the walls finally closing in on that New York Attorney General, Miss Letitia James. In this newest update, as we're seeing a major backfire coming stemming from that civil fraud case. Guys, I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. Just make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we get into it, you guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button for your boy. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks. Check this one out. It says President Trump's fraud case just got obliterated by the appellate court, guys. You know, we've been waiting on the appeals court on the $450 million judgment, civil fraud judgment. That was with that corrupt judge, Arthur Ingram, and New York Attorney General, Miss Letitia James, guys. Check this out.
So the Trump fraud case went before the appellate court this week. And by the time it was over, the closing arguments of the Democrat lawyers was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So look, many people aren't aware that the Trump fraud case went before the appeals court this week. And if you don't know how an appeals court works, there are 5 judges that sit in judgment for these cases. And they basically let the prosecution and the defense both lay out their cases. And their job is to consider whether or not the case was worth hearing in the first place. And it went so badly for the Democrat lawyers that by the end of it, their closing arguments was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So they argued a ton of different things throughout this case. But the biggest thing was the judges kept interrupting them. They kept saying, hold on. Can you find me one other time in history where the person who took the loan was able to call the bank that they took the loan from, and then that bank showed up and said, we weren't defrauded? And the lawyers spent like 2 hours trying to find one little instance where.
And it's because they're not going to find an instance because this was all political, and it showed right there. Donald Trump, Alina Hobb, his legal spokesperson attorney, has been saying throughout this whole thing, it's all political. Tish James, she knows what she's doing, and now her time has come, guys, and they better hope. Oh my goodness, this sounds like they're in over their head.
And the lawyers spent like 2 hours trying to find one little instance where it happened. But then the judges said, okay, let's try something else. They said, hey, have you ever prosecuted someone for lying about the value of a property when it resulted in the entire loan being paid back with interest? And again, they gave them like 2 hours to try to explain their case, and they still couldn't produce a single case where that had happened. And then the judges said, hey, you know what? We'll give you another shot. They said, have you ever seen an attorney general prosecute a case where there was no damage to the public, there was no damage to the person you said was defrauded, and there was no actual malice committed by the person who took?
Like, where are the victims, guys? That is exactly where the appellate courts are trying to figure where are the victims at? Who did this guy defraud? Because he paid it all back and the interest. No one's complaining except Letitia James, state's attorney. I don't understand what's going on right here. What's the problem?
Was defrauded, and there was no actual malice committed by the person who took the loan. And then they took another like 6 hours on that one. And by the end of it, the judges were like, so you don't have any instance of that happening? And then by the time they were done, the judges were like, I don't even know if this is a case that should have been brought. And they said, look, y'all might need to be sanctioned for bringing this case in a malicious manner. One of the judges actually said, I have come to believe that since a case like this has never been brought in the history of the country, not only New York, that you have only brought this case because the person was running for president, which would put you afoul of not only multiple regulations regarding the law, but would also run you afoul of electioneering interference. Yep. In fact, at the end of it, when they got to give their closing arguments, instead of arguing the value of their case, instead of arguing that like we should have been able to bring this case because of X and Y and all this shit, they actually just said at the end, we hope that the court will take into account that lawyers need to be able to bring cases like this without the threat of sanction. Basically, they were saying, we hope that you decide that we're not going to get in trouble for bringing this bullshit case. That was what happened at the appellate court. So
Wow, guys. Wow, right there. That alone, the closing arguments, they're just trying to save their hide. The jig is up. They're finally all going down. And maybe Tish James, too. Hold on.
for bringing this bullshit case. That was what happened at the appellate court. So Trump, being found guilty of fraud and having to pay 500 some odd million fucking dollars, and the whole left celebrating about that, he's gonna get all that money back because the appellate court was like, this is a bullshit case. The people he took the loan from literally came to court on his behalf and said, hey, we weren't defrauded. We knew he overvalued Mar-a-Lago. We took that into our calculations. And even if we had taken that into our calculations, and the value of Mar-a-Lago was part of 0.14. Like the president of Deutsche Bank said, you know why we gave him the loan? It had nothing to do with the value of Mar-a-Lago. It had to do with we given him 21 other loans. And he has paid back all 21 with interest. We were giving him the loan regardless of the value of anything. And that's where the appellate court was like, how do you have a case? Deutsche Bank literally said we were giving him the loan regardless. And that's when they start begging to not get sanctioned. So yeah, that's what happened with the Trump fraud case this week.
Wow, guys. Wow. That coming from Team FU Joe on X, guys. Definitely go check him out. But you're just seeing it's all over. I told you the walls have finally closed in. Then I had to show you guys the appellate division court, the actual 5-judge panel, guys. Check it out. They absolutely got roasted to filth, man. Look at this.
May it please the court, Judith Vale for the New York Attorney General's office. All of the defendants repeatedly violated—
Ms. Vale, can you identify any previous case in which the Attorney General sued under Executive Law 6312 to upset a private business transaction that was between equally sophisticated partners, where the supposed victim had the ability and legal obligation to discover the allegedly misrepresented matters by conducting its own due diligence, where the supposed wrongdoer advised the supposed victim through written disclaimers to conduct its own due diligence and to draw its own conclusions, where the alleged misrepresentation almost entirely concerned inherently subjective valuations of properties and businesses.
Yes.
And where the victim never complained about any fraud in the transactional losses from it. Because
May it please
Find
the
me
court.
a case. Find me a case. That's what these freaking judges are asking, and you cannot. These Democratic attorneys are not going to. This is all New York attorneys, Miss Letitia James. This is all her doing. She ran and campaigned on the nature of getting Donald Trump, saying that, hey, if you guys put me into that spot, elect me in as Attorney General, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go after, we're going to take down Donald Trump, and that's by any means necessary, even if it means bringing about this sham, tossed together case where there's no victim. The crime, the statutes that were stretched paper thin in order to get to Donald Trump right here. And we need to see some of those figures being held accountable. Not only Letitia James, but we also need to see that corrupt judge Arthur Ingram, because he allowed that in his court. Listen to this. This is Letitia James. This is how she got elected in.
But more importantly, until Trump is defeated, we will all rise up and resist this man. And ultimately, we'll bring him down. This illegitimate president, I'm going to give you the same level of respect that you gave to President Obama, and that is absolutely no respect at all. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
I mean, come on, y'all.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
That's before she got elected in as Attorney General. That's how she got elected in, guys. And this is the narrative she's trying to push versus what actually is happening in reality, how she truly feels.
Trump's comments were offensive. They were baseless. They were void of any facts and/or any evidence. What they were comments that unfortunately fomented violence, and comments that I would describe as race baiting, and comments, unfortunately, that appeals to the bottom of our humanity.
Stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale.
Wow.
Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale.
These folks. I mean, this right here, this is literally who is coming after Donald Trump. You're telling me that there's no political motive, there's no personal political vendetta or motive behind this case. You gotta be kidding me. And that's exactly why we're seeing headlines like this. They got torched in court. Donald Trump's been screaming this entire time. We'll see him in the appellate division. We'll see him in appeals court because that corrupt judge, Arthur Ingram, he's already got his mind made up before he even walked into that courtroom. We've got Letitia James and her attorneys begging the appeals courts not to sanction them for this absurd Donald Trump $500 million sham case. I mean, come on, you guys. It's a sham. And she's finally having to pay. And that's why they're getting torched in the appellate division. I mean, come on, y'all. Then I'm going to end it here. I just had to show you guys. This is an absolute joke. We got Trump prosecuted. This is the headline coming from New York, The Sun. We got Trump prosecutor Letitia James reporting mulling a run for mayor. I mean, come on, y'all. Even though she's got her Trump fraud verdict, could be soon thrown out. Now we're seeing that thing is definitely getting tossed out. And she's talking about a run at mayor. I mean, I hope the folks of New York wake up, because if she'll do it to Donald Trump, she'll do it to you. She came after this guy and said she wanted his business. She wanted Trump Tower. She said, I'll take that. You only have to give me the $500 million. If she'll do it to him, she'll do it to you guys. Definitely hop in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.